The internet can make something insignificant into something humongous. So was the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Now, I personally didn't try the Popeyes chicken sandwich, and in general, I'm not much of a fast food chicken sandwich guy anyway, but I figured I'd give a crack at this recipe because it was one of the most requested. It was something that I had in kind of a B-roll section of a video last fall that in the comments you guys told me that you wanted to see the actual recipe for this. So I'm gonna show you my technique for doing this. Like I said, I've never had the Popeyes chicken sandwich. What they say it is a brioche roll with either mayonnaise or a Cajun mayonnaise, pickles, and a fried chicken breast, Southern style. In order to achieve that, I'm actually gonna take a shortcut, and I use this, I've shown you this in the past. This is the Kentucky Kernel Seasoned Flour. Kernel, KFC. This is kind of a shortcut, and the reason why is because it already has the seasonings that it needs. It says spices. It doesn't really tell you what it is. It's probably whatever, 11 or 13 spices. This is my last box of this. The only place I could find this is ShopRite. All you need for this recipe is chicken breast. You can use thigh as well, but I like breast just personally. Buttermilk, hot sauce, salt, pepper, garlic powder, cayenne. You need a roll and you need pickles and mayonnaise. There's not a lot there. In terms of the technique, we're gonna slice up the chicken and we're gonna soak it in a buttermilk bath that's gonna have some more spices to kind of give it a little bit more, give some opportunity to get some flavor into that chicken a little more. Bread it up, fry it. That's basically it. And then we'll assemble a sandwich. First thing we have to do is break down our chicken and get it soaking in the bath. You see, it's rather thick, right? Nobody's gonna wanna bite into that on a sandwich. So I'm gonna do a couple of different things with this chicken breast. I'm gonna slice a little bit of it off so that it's kind of more of a normal thickness for like a chicken sandwich. And I'm gonna use the rest of the chicken. I'm gonna cut it into little nuggets, and we'll make some nuggets at the same time. Why not? Like kind of like a Chick-fil-A kind of thing. I'm gonna get this cut up. I'll show you how we're gonna brine it for a couple hours. Here's our chicken, right? So let's see what the best way to do this is. You just want to cut in the middle. Now this takes a little bit of practice. I want kind of one nice big piece of chicken, and then the rest of it I'm gonna use for like a nugget type thing. Kind of doing like a little bit of surgery here. Now that what I got here, I could actually almost make two different chicken sandwiches out of this, right? What I'm gonna do is actually use this one for the actual sandwich, and this one here we'll cut into nuggets. Time to talk about the brine. It's gonna be buttermilk based. The reason why you would soak a piece of chicken in buttermilk is to have flavors penetrate into the chicken, right? This is kind of typical for like your actual fried chicken. So when you break down a chicken, you'll brine it in buttermilk overnight to kind of have the seasonings penetrate all the way through to the bone. In this case here, we have a breast, so we don't need to marinate it in that quite as long. I would say minimum 3 or 4 hours, maximum maybe 12. So I'm gonna throw, for about this amount of chicken, I'm gonna throw maybe a cup and a half of buttermilk in here. Now's the time where you wanna get some flavors in there. So definitely some garlic powder, definitely cayenne pepper. I'm gonna actually jazz it up with some hot sauce. I would like to use Louisiana hot sauce for this, or like just a regular Frank's, but I don't have that on hand right now. So I'm gonna use Cholula, which is the closest thing that I have. Salt, pepper. And that's kind of the basis for what we're gonna do here. That's the first layer of flavor on this chicken. So it's important. All right, now we go in with a little whisk. Mix her up. You wanna make sure this is nice and even. You don't want like one really spicy piece of chicken or nugget. And the chicken goes right in. I'm gonna go in with the breast first. I wanna make sure that guy gets the most soak, and then I'll put these around. And just make sure that they're in there. I would say mix it up. You want to cover this. If you're going to put it, you can put this in the fridge overnight. Putting it in the fridge is going to slow it down a little bit. I would say you definitely want to make sure this is covered no matter where you put it. So that's soaking. I'm gonna get back to what I was doing, and I'll come back when we're ready to bread it up. Really important, while you're here, don't forget, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know that you like the content on the channel here. Also, subscribe to the channel. You want to be notified, so click that notification bell. You'll want those notifications turned on so that when new videos drop, you'll be notified. Leave a comment down below if there are any recipes that you want to see in the future. You see, I made this. This is something you guys asked for. Now here is our chicken that's been soaking in the buttermilk bath. What this does, since buttermilk has high acidity, it helps to break down the protein to penetrate into the chicken to bring the flavor into there. If you didn't do that, you may end up with dry chicken, and you definitely wouldn't be flavored. It wouldn't be juicy. That's kind of what you're looking for here, is kind of a juicy chicken breast. I have my nuggets and my breast here. All I'm gonna do is dump out some of my flour into a bowl. I'm gonna set it aside to kind of dry for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna just fry it on a cast iron. I use this silly little cast iron for everything. I'm gonna actually use sunflower oil for that. That's the clear oil I have. You could use olive oil, you could use canola oil. That's what I have right now. I'm just gonna use that. I have my oven on set to 450. I don't wanna keep it in the fry oil too much, otherwise the flour is gonna burn. We'll do it a couple minutes each side and then pop it in the oven if we need to. Let's get to breading this chicken. I'm gonna stop for a quick second at this stage here. When you're doing this breading, you really wanna pack it in. Sometimes what you'll actually see people do when they're breading chicken for this, if they want like an extra crispy chicken, they will actually pour buttermilk into this dry dredge so that you get kind of those crusties sticking to the wet chicken as well as just flour. I'm just gonna try to achieve that, really patting it in there. Now the other thing that you can do here is go from this piece of chicken right here, which is what I have. You can go into egg and then back into here, but you end up with a really thick coating at that point. So I'm gonna put that on a plate, and then we'll do our nuggets the same way. This, and then now it's almost like because we had so much wet on there, it's almost like a batter at this point. These are gonna come out really crispy at this point. All right, I'm gonna throw these on the plate. You wanna give them a little bit of space. You want them to kind of dry up a little bit. And there we have it. I'm gonna let that sit for about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Chicken has been sitting for about 5 minutes at this point. So I'm gonna start preheating my cast iron. Now I'm right about medium on that. I'm using the larger burner on this. When you put in your oil, this really should be a good pan fry. I'm gonna just cover the bottom of the pan. That's to cook all this chicken, and that is actually gonna expand as it heats a little bit as well. What I'm gonna do now, as that heats, when it gets up to like 350, 375, I'll put in my chicken breast, and I'll show you. That's my oven preheated. So that's kind of gonna bake these as they come out of the oil. That oil has a nice little shimmer. You can see some dancing on top of it. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go in with my chicken. It's really important when you do this, make it go away from you. And you'll see there's a nice sizzle going on there. So now this is gonna cook just like that for a couple minutes. I would say maybe 4 to 5 minutes per side. And you see it's getting nice and bubbly. And you can regulate the heat here. If it seems like it's heating too fast or burning on one side, you could turn the heat down a little bit. It doesn't need to be cooking, ripping hot at this point. You want this chicken to be cooked all the way through, but we can also finish it in the oven, which is what we're gonna do. So I got my chicken out. It's definitely not fully cooked. I wanna bake that for about 10 minutes. It's nice and crusty. What I want to do next is I'm gonna do these nuggets I want to bake them at the same time. Now, these aren't gonna need to cook as long as the chicken, the breast. So get these in the oil. Try to space them out a little bit. Now these are gonna be more in the style of like Chick-fil-A. So you can see that these take almost no time. Look at that. Come on, guys, this looks amazing, doesn't it? Now I want these extra crispy, so I'm gonna give them another turn. Make sure all those sides get nice and browned up. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, just like that right there. All right, kill the heat. You see my stovetop is a mess. Whatever, we'll clean it up later. I got Wee Man to clean this up. It doesn't matter if you bring a little extra oil with you. All right, so there we go. Now this in the oven, I'm gonna say 8 to 10 minutes. So the nuggets should be done first. Maybe we'll end up pulling those nuggets before the chicken breast is ready, but I don't want to overcook them. But the buttermilk soak that we did at the beginning is going to give us a little forgiveness in terms of juiciness in the end product. Even if we overcook them a little, I'd rather have overcooked chicken slightly than undercooked chicken. But we're gonna pull those nuggets probably in about, let's say 5 minutes, and then the breast in about 10 minutes. I think the nuggets are ready, so I'm gonna bring them out onto a wire rack. They may stick a little bit, but that's okay. They'll come loose. It smells amazing in here. You guys can't smell it, but I can, and I can't believe it. All right, so 5 more minutes on the breast. You know what? Where was that little guy? I'm gonna sneak a little guy. Hot. I'm not gonna tell you what it's like yet. Let's talk about how to top the sandwich. Like I said, and you're not gonna believe me, but I had never had this Popeye sandwich. I don't even know anybody who has had it, or at least they haven't told me they've had it. I'm only going by what I've seen on the internet. In this case here, I'm not gonna go with the Cajun whatever mayonnaise. I'm just gonna go with straight regular mayonnaise. This is Trader Joe's version. I don't know why theirs is so good, but I like it better. And then I'm going with some bread and butter pickles. What I've seen the pictures, there's only like 2 or 3 pickles. We're gonna line our brioche bun with pickles. My local supermarkets, you can't buy one roll or bun. I don't understand what the deal is there. So I ended up going to Panera, and for $1, they had a pretty nice brioche roll. I think that looks perfect. I'm gonna throw it in the oven for about 2 minutes. After the chicken comes out and is resting on the rack, it gets a little toasty. It's fresh, I know it's fresh, but I want to get a little snap to it as well. Just a little coating of mayonnaise. I'm gonna do both sides. I'll do pickles on the bottom, chicken on top, and we'll call it a day on that. It's time for the chicken to come out of the oven. You hear it's making a lot of noise here. We'll use a stove for leverage there. I don't want to break all the beautiful crust we got. Broke a little, but that's life. We got our nuggets. Sneak it out of there. Chicken breast. We're gonna assemble a sandwich. We need to talk about these nuggets for a minute. And overall the flavor with this chicken. We added cayenne pepper to the bath. That goes a long way in rounding out the flavor here. The breader has quite a bit of seasonings and stuff, but it doesn't have a lot of heat. The heat is what's gonna give this dish balls, which is what Popeyes is missing. I'm gonna say, in terms of flavor, I have never tasted Popeyes, but that little hit of cayenne pepper that you add, make it your own. You can leave it out. You could add like tons more than I did. At the end of the day, it really comes down to your personal preference. I'm sure that Popeyes probably has a flavor mix that they're adding to their bath as well as to their flour mixture. Make it your own. The nuggets were amazing. I would put those even ahead of Chick-fil-A nuggets just because Chick-fil-A nuggets to me are kind of boring. You know, I kind of like their chicken breast sandwich better anyway. This is a perfect way to get to like that Popeyes chicken, like a fried chicken exterior on any kind of chicken that you make. You could do this with chicken thigh as well. That's gonna be a little bit fattier. I mean, you're deep frying or pan frying, whatever you want to call it. It's probably gonna be even juicier because the bath is gonna penetrate it a little more. So I personally prefer breast, but do what you gotta do, guys. Let's assemble a Popeye chicken sandwich. So I got my roll. I'm gonna cut my roll, being very careful. It's very soft, very supple. Now we said mayonnaise both sides. I'm not gonna overdo it. I'd say about 1.5 tablespoons total. If you don't have a spreader like this, like a spatula, we want to get one. Butter knives just don't cut it for mayonnaise. There's our mayo on that side, mayo on this side. Mayo is done. Pickles. All right. We'll go one. I want this entire surface covered, and maybe they could overlap a little bit. So instead of the 3 pickles, I think we're gonna do like 2.5 times the Popeyes. 2.5x Popeyes. All right, here it is, last one. So we got 2, 4, 6, 7 pickles. Not quite 2.5x. So sue me. Go right on with that. Roll. How's that look, guys? There we go, look at that. What do you think? Should we dig in? By the way, if you notice here, I've basically, over the course of assembling this sandwich and before waiting, I've eaten all the nuggets. Now I've eaten all the nuggets. These are so good. It's time to taste this chicken sandwich for you. Now, just for context, so you could see, this is what we're dealing with. This is a thick sandwich. It's thicker on this side than this side, so I'm gonna bite in on the thicker side. Hopefully I don't burn myself. Let's see. Look at how juicy that is. I love how the pickles kind of goes right up against it. You get that kind of heat from the cayenne pepper and from the hot sauce. All that seasoning. Nice and crispy. It's cooked all the way through, but still nice and juicy. That's because we brined it. That brine makes all the difference. I'm gonna finish the rest of this. Remember, like, comment on this video. Let us know you liked it. This is amazing. I really want you to try this. If you do, reach out on social media, tag me in your pictures. I wanna see how you make this. If you come up with a better version, let's throw down, guys. I'll put this up against anybody, especially that wimp Popeye. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.